Okay, me personally, I've always felt that a barf diet that's coming more from like liver and the intestines was a hell of a lot more better than a barf diet coming from like meat and hindquarters. That's me personally. I've always suspected it just on a personal level, no science behind it. But it wasn't until I had read an article of an individual who actually put my theory to the test by him experimenting, which later on confirmed what I always suspected to be true. See, back in the early 1970s, Jack Kelly had wrote that according to a theory, carnivorous animals in the wild state would eat the stomach contents of the food they kill before they eat the muscle meat. Now, it's a lot of people from rural areas that they've spoken with discounted that theory entirely. They said if you let the dogs feed on the first killed carcass of a steer, cow, or a horse, the first thing that they'll eat is the rump and the neck meat, and in most cases, they won't even eat the viscera at all. Well, the main difference between fact and theory is that fact is always more available to see than a theory. Now, a lot of us have seen the Discovery Channel or National Geographic, and we all seen lines when they at their kill. Every line you see, they go straight for the stomach every time they kill something. Now, a healthy wild lion, he does prefer the organ meat to muscle meat. That's a fact, that ain't no theory. Now, if you think about it, the animal that they're eating is a herbivore, and the animal that is eating that herbivore is a carnivore. Now, what do carnivores eat first when they're eating their herbivore prey? The stomach. Now, what do herbivores eat predominantly? Grass. The proteins and all the amino acids and all the rich nutrients that carnivore has to have to survive is in the stomach of that herbivore, and that herbivore predominantly only eats grass. So that means that the liver, the stomach, the intestines, everything that is high nutrients that carnivore needs is coming from the stomach of that herbivore. This is why the stomach is most important when you're feeding an animal raw food. The intestines or the viscera of that animal is more important than the meat. Because think about it like this here as well. Anytime you done seen on National Geographic or even the Discovery Channel of a lion or like a cheetah or a bear, it doesn't matter. Anytime you done seen them catch their prey, every time they caught their prey and they done killed it, where were their head at when they popped it up? Every single time their head was somewhere in the stomach area of that animal. You don't ever see them chewing on the neck meat, the thigh, the chest, none of that. Every time you seen these animals chewing on any animal that they have killed, they had started from the inside first. They eat the guts. Now, I know this is going to piss off some of my bulldog people who really love these dogs. But if you do trace these dogs back to the descendants, you'll find out that they come down from jackals. Those ain't nothing but scavengers that gorge themselves on the lines after they done all the work. Now, that's according to Conrad Lorenz. That's a prominent naturalist who termed the dogs jackal bred, while a small amount of shepherd's childs and huskies are theorized to be wolf breds. Now, some carnivores consume mostly the organ meats, while others often have little to no choice but to consume the muscle meat of their prey. That's usually the jackals. Now, perhaps a million years of consuming primarily muscle meat, that resulted in maybe some species of carnivores in them actually preferring muscle meat to organ meat. Not that it proved that muscle meat is superior to organ meat at all. So given the fact that these pit bulls are descendants from jackals, it would seem no surprise that most of the fanciers from the rural areas, they've observed these dogs preferring muscle meat over organ meat. So when you think about it, the people that's sitting here telling you that their dog prefer muscle meat over anything, most likely their dog has been raised on a domesticated diet, which is whatever cooked food that's in that little can that they wind up feeding their puppies from start to finish, opposed for them having some type of natural instinct to hunt their own living prey. Now, if the dog is no longer able to distinguish the superior organ meats from the inferior muscle meats, the cause must rest with the dog's dietary degeneration, which was in turn caused by the so-called civilized diets that they've been raised on. Now, in order to conduct a totally fair and scientific experiment with dogs, in order to see where their natural appetite leads them, you gotta do it when they're a just weaned pup whose natural instincts are in full bloom. Now, anybody can try this exact same experiment. This dude took a young puppy pit bull and started eating live mice, the white mice that you can get from the store. The puppy liked them mice so much that he was damn near swallowing them things whole, stomach and all. Now the dude had graduated this puppy to rats. Now the first rat that was given to this puppy was a pretty large rat. It was big enough to fight him back. It was almost half his size. But in the process of the puppy trying to get the rat wound up getting on him pretty good and opening up his leg a little bit, so much to where it made this puppy quit. So the dude had to go ahead and knock the rat over the head to finish him off. The puppy had to be encouraged to go eat that rat. But once he started, there wasn't no stopping him. He actually growled at the dude in a vicious way whenever he touched the rat to make it move so that the puppy thought that the prey was still alive. Now the second rat that the dude gave the puppy was as big as the first rat, but the little puppy had figured out that that rat was food and he wasn't about to quit this time. The little puppy had fought that big rat, took a lot of punishment and came up with the win. After his fighting, he limped for about 3 days and his face was swollen up like a golf ball was in his cheek. All the time, he was chewing on that rat and whimpering because his face was so sore because it hurt when he chewed, but he enjoyed that meal. Next, the dude gave the puppy a rabbit. No contest. The rabbit was killed immediately, but was too big for the pup to eat entirely. So what did he eat first, you may ask? The young pup, with his natural dietary instinct still intact, got deep into the middle of that rabbit and ate all of the organs first. The dude ended up taking the carcass and the muscle meat away from the puppy because he was just eating too much food. Good girl. Even though we got our own methods of doing our breeding program, our conditioning, even our dietary program, everybody experts in the field. I'm not an expert in none of that stuff. I just do what works best for me off of trial and error from years ago to right now. Whenever I'm putting the animal through a hard, strenuous work, certain type of food I like to feed them. I don't feed them raw 24/7 just because I don't have a reason for an animal to have that much protein on their body when they're not doing nothing. I usually work them out with a raw diet, mixed with the kibble. Since I have kibble every day, I don't put a raw diet on them whenever I'm doing strenuous exercise because I don't want to mess up their digestive system because they ain't never had that on their own before, and I don't ever plan on feeding. Good girl. Hey, mama. I don't ever plan on feeding a raw diet for nothing unless I'm exercising the dog to do some type of strenuous work. You can do it however as you like. Whatever works best for y'all, I want y'all to have a good time with it. I'm just here to give out a little bit of information based off of what I've done over the years or what helps my dogs. Hey, mama. So, y'all gonna do y'all thing? Holla at y'all boys next time. This is boy Nick Love and K9 ProSeeds. Jump. Hi, mama. Watch it, mama. Bring it on down. Good girl, mama. Good girl, Chi-Chi. Hey, mama. Hey, mama. Hey, mama. Good girl. Hey, mama.